cross-examination. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. Alright, got nothing with that one. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. Okay. Tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. And after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Because of this... Because of that, this swell found me. Did help me get away, mind. Everything I think of is this loud bang at this point.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Let's keep an eye on him. Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes? Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim. Could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at the crucial moment? Nope, because it was pitch in there, she said. Yeah, I saw it. Wait, hold on. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butchers while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke. What had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course. But then the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. Should have never risked looking. It's because of that this swan found me. Did help me get away, mind. Let's press on that. And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Awful. Both me hands got covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing my face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. One brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right, and I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. I think we have to press on all these, because I don't have enough of a clue at this point. So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a jury to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it? I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. Actually, makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up my little mystery of fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabin man said testified. It's been like, Still feels like there's probably more there. One little scapegrace riding for free. The red conch-covered drive always goes for some grub before its last run, see? Okay. So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. What of equipment for the coach? No? Yeah, what? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there. Sure. I always chuck all that out and cram in the corners somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who just arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I could tell you. I'm just trying to put the pieces together here, like there's something. Seems to have reached the end of the line of inquiry. Continue. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the... God permit at least some of the time. Alright. I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit? Oh yeah. Well, that's what me kind call it. You say the omnibus, I suppose? Point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. This key was sat on me from the start. Cove? Like, the whole word and phrasing is really throwing me off if you haven't noticed. He didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time and events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Yeah? Right, mister. To be sure. I was shocked as anyone, were you now? You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then? I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. There's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. Wait, I didn't press on that, did I?
Hold it!
That's what I want to do. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and have a look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm going to fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. Oh dear. I mean, I can have a look. See, I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. But didn't he say it was the most comfortable at the back? That's what's suspicious. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over my head. And for that reason you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. He did say, didn't he, that the best seats are at the back, but they're clearly not. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much...
Well, no.
Like being thrown in the clink. Huh?
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. Still scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself. I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was this Irishman snoring. Jabers, I think. There's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make out of that last statement of hers? It's profoundly important. Guess what else am I going to say? My lord. I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is a profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating the last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I don't know what you're trying to do. It won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on. All I could hear was the snoring. Okay. So let's press on it then. So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, I got me head down so he didn't notice me. Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you Adam and Eve, eh? What a mug. So all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. I just had to stay put and listen to I'm driving, his pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? I'm gonna say it doesn't add up, because that seems to be the way it's leading. You'd hear something of the murder, surely. Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court, it's clearly at odds with the facts. Huh? At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zykes realized it too. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim of evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Oh, I meant to name someone? Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Ryu. Think. There's something else she should have heard. Well, this is the thing. She had to get in the hiding spot, yeah? And then to get into the hiding spot, she would have not been seen. Right? So, if she was not being seen... It's just the way he said someone, and now we've got that option. It's that sort of thing like... He must have got on at some point, right? After she was hiding. It has to be after she was hiding. Otherwise, she would have been spotted. Easily. So she must have... Yeah, show a person. Makes sense, right? Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person. It has to be that. What else could it be?
Take that!
Thrice fired Mason. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. There we go. Yeah, it's like she would have been seen otherwise. Order, explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah? Of course it was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. Yeah. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at the time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? With the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. How does that fit with anything then? That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? I want to check something. Yeah. Let's go back inside. Yes. Okay, so there's only that entrance. It's got the handle on it. So it's very much that case of like, yeah, she would have heard the door because it's right next to her. But, can you? Like, does this slide? Like, what's this? Because if this slides, that's an entrance that she may not hear. Or maybe the window. But I'm thinking it's gonna be a... Is that a handle of some sort? Let's go up top. Let's go up top. Yes, I've seen enough. Let's go. I've got an inkling. Right, so. There's a handle. You can get inside from up here. That's it. He came in through the top. These guys killed him. He came in through the top. So he's innocent. And I think we're almost there. It's the Skylight. We know the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Good. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zyk's. Yes. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colourful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. It is like, we're kind of working against herself. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Now, hold on, we're not finished. Because it's like, yeah, her statement is inaccurate with what we think right now, but she didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman? I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. I mean, you already did that, weren't you? Weren't you already that? That's not heard of that. 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Didn't he have a black one behind him already? I need to go back on that. Well, consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. Don't smash it. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Good. Yes, very refreshing. What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern... Amadan? Oh my, this is carnage, it's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. So Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? When and how did the body get there? That's the question you should all be asking. Counsel... I'm... sorry, sir? Whatever you mean. Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. There's another entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for us all to see. Yes, the Skylight. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door. So why didn't you hear anyone get on?
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Ding! All right, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? Right there. Right there.
Take that!
Take that! The answer is obvious. It can only have been the Skylight. I say! The Skylight? Yes, the Skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost had me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the Skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. Do you have a shred of evidence to support your able brain theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Mr. Lestrade said... Mr.? I think it's obvious why I went with Mr. Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Ah, it was... yeah. Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but... would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact? Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such, dropped. He fell into it. Oh.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the Skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. Unless... And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Because... Well, yes, that's true, but, they're trying to frame him. Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh, my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Ah! Oh, they're back. Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating? What are you doing, mate? Why are you a horse now? Or on a horse? This is a flaming outrage. I have a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said. And so will I. Mr. Fairplay? You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and a well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel. Order. What I like about this order stuff, that's kind of what I was doing with the judge in the Race Attorney games. It's like, well, it's perfectly here now as order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion onto the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, it's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zyx. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witness. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witness without proof. Accuse? I never intended to, It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. I propose this to the court, that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? We've gone over the crowd. Spectators in the public gallery are in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony? In reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward.